Welcome to Bali. This is your tourism information program, Bali Vision.
Om Swastiastu. Good afternoon and welcome to Bali Vision. I'm Edmund Daniel. Great to have your company. More than 3.4 million people in Bali have received their first jab of the COVID-19 vaccine. This makes the province completing the first phase of its vaccination target. Bali is second only to Indonesia's capital, Jakarta, when it comes to vaccination rates and appears well on its way to fully vaccinate its targeted population soon. According to data from the Health Ministry, as of 7th of November 2021, nearly 3 million people have been fully vaccinated in Bali. The number amounts to around 87% of the province's vaccination target. While the vaccination target has been reached for public servants and health workers, Bali still has some ways to go when it comes to elderly people and the general public, as rates for the two groups are still below 60%. The city of Denpasar has the highest fully vaccinated population of almost 700,000. Meanwhile, the Regency of Badung has the second highest with just over 451,000 receiving both jabs. These are currently the only regions in Bali that have reached their vaccination targets. The COVID-19 situation in Bali has gradually improved since the mid-year's major surge triggered by the Delta variant. As the level of public social activity restriction or PPKM in Bali has decreased, search of hotels in Bali through Google from the domestic market is increasing. The number of domestic tourists has also increased based on the data from the Central Bank's representative office in Bali this year.
Based on the data Bank of Indonesia, as of 2nd of October 2021, refers to Google search engine, search of hotels in Bali is increasing since the government decreased the level of PPKM implementation in Bali into level 2. Search of hotels in Bali is dominated by domestic compared to foreigners. In details, hotel seeker from Bali reached 32%, Australia only 6%, the United States 5%, and India 3%. The head of Representative Office of Bank of Indonesia in Bali, Trisno Nugroho, stated, since last September 2021, search of hotels in Bali on Google search engine from domestic market is increasing. However, seeker from international market is relatively low. Even the international border in Bali has been reopened as the fear factors of foreigners to travel is quite high. Meanwhile, the data of Bank of Indonesia shows since the early 2021 to 24 October 2021, the arrival of domestic passenger reached 1.20 million people. However, the number of international passengers arrived in Bali decreased drastically, around 99.96%. Indra Wijaya reporting.
The Bali Tourism Board has proposed to the central government to reduce the quarantine time for international visitors to just 1 day, despite the government's previous reduction to 3 days. Head of Bali Tourism Board, Ida Bagus Agung Parta Ardiana, said that despite recently reducing the quarantine time for international travelers to 3 days, he still hopes that the central government would consider adjusting this policy by implementing only just 1 day of quarantine to attract more travelers to the island. He said that tourism operators in Bali appreciate the recent quarantine policy adjustment. However, Bali's tourism benchmark is Thailand's Phuket Sandbox policy that applies no quarantine at all. He proposed that the central government could give leniency to international visitors who have completed their full COVID-19 vaccination to boost the economy. He also admitted that Bali hotels haven't received any reservations from international visitors, although the border was reopened on the 14th of October. He added that Bali is targeting the wrong markets for the reopening of Bali's tourism. As the number of domestic tourists to Bali, especially Badung Regency, increases, the Civil Service Police Unit of Badung is tightening supervision and intensifying patrol in several public places. The mobility of domestic tourists to several public places in Badung, such as tourist attractions, hotels, restaurants and cafes, began to increase. Even the level of PPKM implementation in Bali has been decreased to level 2. The head of Civil Service Police Unit of Badung, I Gusti Agung Ketut Suryanegara, said that the increment of people's mobility in Badung urges the officers to intensify health protocol supervision by conducting patrols in public places. The Civil Service Police Unit of Badung, together with the Civil Service Police Unit of Denpasar and Bali Province, has conducted a meeting with several business leaders and related stakeholders to anticipate crowd, socialize the use of the Peduli Lindungi tracing application, and the importance of strictly implementing health protocols in their place of business. Several areas in North Kuta is included among the green zone areas in that sub-district. Therefore, the local community, including foreigners in that area, are obliged to strictly implement health protocols to prevent a new cluster of COVID-19 spread.
The COVID-19 situation in Bali has gradually improved, including in Badung Regency. It cannot be separated from the synergy between government and community, which implement health protocols disciplinarily to prevent COVID-19 spread and widen the COVID-19 vaccination coverage. The head of North Kuta Subdistrict, Putu Eka Pramana, states the awareness of foreigners to implement health protocols has improved, especially in tourist area in Canggu, Tibu Benang, and Patitengat. Supervision of health protocols implementation is still done every day by Civil Service Police Unit of Bali Province and Badung Regency to reduce the spread of COVID-19, so that the economy of Bali can be recovered very soon. Haris and Buddha reporting.
Don't go anywhere, Bali Vision will continue after the break.
TVRI Bali, media pemersatu bangsa.